to them. Failure to file an appeal within the time limit deprives the court of the jurisdiction to hear the matter. Because this is a quasi-judicial body, everything said in this meeting must be complete, true, and accurate. All of the information provided to the BZA is considered evidence, and this board may certify contempt of circuit court if false statements are made either in writing or orally. Because of this, each person who wishes to address the board will be sworn in. In order to expedite the procedure, those wishing to speak in person and at town hall, or in person at town hall and on Zoom, if you will all stand as a group, Mr. Wilson will administer the oath at this time to those who wish to speak. So if everyone would stand, and Mr. Wilson, if you would swear them in, please, sir.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If you take off your mute button and say yes, that would be great.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
If you would like to address the board and are participating by Zoom, please use the chat function at this time to state your name and whether you are in support or opposition, and you will be called upon to speak at the appropriate time. And if anyone has called in to speak, you will be recognized by your phone number and called upon when the time comes. Flannery, do we have anybody on Zoom or by phone to speak?
I think I saw someone in the back of the room on the camera.
We do have Joe Walters here to speak in person. Kristen can let you know if there's anyone via Zoom.
Okay, Kristen, do we have anyone on Zoom or telephone that we'll need to call on?
There are not any other attendees besides the people that you see.
Okay, thank you. I shall now call each case by file number. Staff will present facts pertinent to the case with unlimited time. I will then call the applicant to address the case. The applicant is limited to 10 minutes. The applicant will please state their name and current address for the record before presenting testimony. I will then ask for those speaking in support of the case that are present at Town Hall to stand up one by one, state their name and address for the record, and they are limited to 2 minutes each. I will then ask for anyone wishing to speak in support. Well, there's no one in support on Zoom. So then I will ask anyone speaking in opposition and are present at Town Hall to do the same. The applicant will then have a chance to reply to any opposition, limited to 2 minutes, and then the BZA will make a motion to close the case to the public. Finally, the BZA will make a motion concerning the application, stating specific findings of fact and conclusions of law. Tonight, we will hear one special exception request. This request must meet all of the criteria in the ordinance. We will now hear case number BZAS-2-22-024. At this time, Kristen Crane, if you would take over for the staff review, please.
All right. Everybody see that?
Yes, I can.
We can.
Yep, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay. The applicant, Mr. Roman Rosick, is seeking a special exception for beverage or related products manufacturing in the commercial core area of the Folly Road Corridor Overlay Zoning District. (798) B Folly Road is 2 acres in size. It's zoned community commercial and it hosts a variety of uses, including a beauty salon, a personal improvement studio, a tattoo parlor, a bar, restaurant, and a general restaurant. Adjacent property to the north is a mixed-use shopping center zoned CC and RSL property under the same ownership, which is low-density suburban residential. Property to the east is zoned RSL and is owned by the subject property owner. Property to the south is a mixed-use shopping center zoned CC, and property to the southeast is in the city of Charleston and zoned diverse residential. Property to the west is zoned general business and is in the city's jurisdiction and CC in the town. The remaining surrounding area includes parcels in the city zoned general business and single-family residential, as well as parcels in the town zoned CC and RSL. The applicant is seeking to utilize the property for his existing homebrew supply store, Beer Engineer Supply. His letter of intent states that BES is looking to expand its homebrew supply store operations in North Charleston to bring a production brewery, tap room, and restaurant to James Island. Our supply store will also be in our new location for the Charleston area beer and winemaking hobbyists. Cecil Morgan LLC is the current owner of the subject parcel, and the lot is considered legal and conforming. So I'll go through some pictures. This is the subject property with the door, the front entrance, and then the picture on the right is the back side. Adjacent property, the picture on the left is south, and the picture on the right is the diverse residential, and then the parking lot in the back. There's property to the north and northeast. This is adjacent property to the west across the street from Folly Road. That's O'Reilly. And then the picture on the right is the residential parcel that's owned by the subject property owners. And here is looking north and south on Folly Road. And a plat showing the space for the special exception. According to section 153.045E, special exceptions may be approved only if the board finds that the proposed use is A, consistent with the recommendations contained in the Town of James Island Comprehensive Plan and the character of the underlying zoning district purpose and intent. Response: the Town of James Island Comprehensive Plan economic development element states a strategy as encouraging a variety of diverse commercial uses that will benefit the town as a whole. The applicant states in his letter of intent that BES is passionate about education for our home brewers, and our expanded location on James Island will allow us to provide classes, competitions, and other outreach programs for the local Charleston community. Additionally, 153.093H states that in the commercial core area, future development in this area is intended for higher intensity commercial uses than those found in the other areas of the corridor. Therefore, this request may be consistent with the comprehensive plan and the stated purposes of this ordinance. B, is compatible with existing uses in the vicinity and will not adversely affect the general welfare or character of the immediate community. Response: this parcel included in the application and nearby properties have a wide range of existing uses: restaurant, bar, lounge, tattoo parlor, administrative offices, hair and nail services, tobacconists, vehicle parts stores, repair service, driving schools, single family and multifamily residential and zoning, commercial, general business, and residential. The use may be compatible with most of the existing uses in the vicinity and should not adversely affect the general welfare or character of the immediate community. C, adequate provision is made for such items as setbacks, buffering, including fences and/or landscaping, to protect adjacent properties from the possible adverse influence of the proposed use, such as noise, vibration, dust, glare, odor, traffic congestion, and similar factors. Response: the proposed business is to occupy a suite within an existing building on a parcel that has been fully developed. In addition, there is an existing dense vegetative buffer to the north and the northeast, and existing privacy fencing along the property to the east and south. D, where applicable, will be developed in a way that will preserve and incorporate any important natural features. Response: The parcel is fully developed with no changes being proposed to existing building footprints or existing vegetation. Therefore, any natural features will be preserved. E, complies with all applicable rules, regulations, laws, and standards of this ordinance, including but not limited to any use conditions, zoning district standards, or site plan review requirements of this ordinance. Response, the applicant is in the process to ensure compliance with the applicable regulations. And F, vehicular traffic and pedestrian movement on adjacent roads shall not be hindered or endangered. Response, vehicular traffic and pedestrian movement should not be hindered or endangered since the mixed-use center is existing. The present layout of the site shows approximately 98 parking spots, which more than exceeds our zoning requirements. The applicant's letter of intent states that they are a family-friendly operation that will have easy access, ample parking, and sidewalks for our neighbors nearby as the Rethink Folly Road redevelopment plan comes to fruition. The board may approve with conditions, or deny this case based on the findings of fact, unless additional information is deemed necessary to make an informed decision. In the event the board decides to approve the application, the board should consider the following condition. The applicant shall follow all applicable, I use that word a lot, laws and regulations concerning alcohol sales, consumption, and manufacturing. And that is all.
Thank you, Ms. Crane. Are there any questions for staff from BZA members?
Corey does.
Okay,
Oops, sorry.
Ms. Hip,
Wanna go
Corey?
first, Amy? You can go first, Amy.
No, go ahead, Corey.
My one question is, so is the hurricane boxing closing? I went there the other day and it looked like it was active.
I actually do not know the status of hurricane boxing at this time.
But
I
that is
know-
where it is going, inside that building, theoretically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And when we were talking on the email earlier to this day, when I was asking the question about the Roost and how they had obtained their liquor license, you had said that they weren't using it for a restaurant, right? That it was just for the manufacturing?
No, I mean, I was trying to relay that the request that is coming forward tonight is only for manufacturing.
Okay.
Because the Roost and Charleston Sports Pub and formerly White Duck Taco was there, they have they are allowed to serve alcohol as a bar or restaurant on that property because the special exception goes with the
Gotcha.
property.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that because I was a
Mhm.
little bit, I misunderstood it. Okay, great. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Fabry, did you have some questions for Ms. Crane?
How are you allocating the parking spots? Because you say that there are 98 parking spots, but there are several businesses there. So does each business, have an allocation of like, you have X amount of square footage, so you need 2 parking spots because the Roost, is probably also counting 98 spots. And then these guys will count 98 spots for their restaurant. How do you do that? How are you using that parking?
We have a parking table in our ordinance, and say it were just a restaurant or a bar, then they would have a specific number they need per square footage of seating area. Because there's so many uses on this parcel, we also have a line item, I guess you could say, for a shopping center, a mixed-use shopping center, which you would calculate the square footage of the buildings, not counting any storage of all the buildings. And then I think it's 1 space per 300 square feet, I believe, is the parking requirement. And so it came out to about 50 something parking spots that would be required. And with their new parking in the back, they have a total of about 98.
Okay. And then one other question is on section, E in the list of findings of fact, where you state that the applicant is in the process to ensure compliance with applicable regulations. Could you define that? I mean, is there something that they need to do, or you're just talking about like staff review for certain items, or is there something else that they need to do?
There's nothing else that they would need to do except go through what we would call either a full site plan review or a limited site plan review based on if the use is changing or not. Since there's already a restaurant bar use here, you know, their site plan review would be considered limited site plan review. And so basically it's going through doing just what we've already done. We kind of do most of it before we go to the BZA to make sure it is an acceptable use that, you know, would be in an approvable state. And so basically that's just talking about going through site plan review. Do they need buffering? Do they need parking? Do they, you know, signage, business license, things like that?
Okay, so it's all staff review stuff. So you're basically saying, since, is that where Duck Taco was? I forget. It's been so long
Well,
ago.
White Duck Taco was where the Roost is currently. And so
Okay.
White Duck Taco, then it was Charleston Sports Pub. Now it's the Roost.
Right.
And that side of the building. This would be the other side of the building. Same building.
Right. So you're just saying because it's adjacent, it's pretty much considered a restaurant anyway, or usable for a restaurant / brewery.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Crane?
I
From
do
staff?
have a question.
Board members? Please, Roy, go ahead.
So I see that we're talking about the buffer and the fence to cut down on noise, vibration, dust, glare, odor, traffic conditions. And you say that there's it's been fully developed and there's an existing dense vegetative buffer and an existing privacy fence. But and I've been there, and I without stating my opinion, I just want to know, Ms. Crane, if that's sufficient or should that be enhanced, or I just, for the record, what's there?
It seems to be sufficient for what we would require. If
you.
we have, well, I don't, if you want me to explain it, we kind of have a clause in our ordinance that states if there's existing vegetative buffering on the neighboring site, then the new business would not need to, you know, install any more buffering if that is sufficient.
Thank you, Ms. Crane.
Mm-hmm.
Can I speak to Roy's question? Do we
course.
know who owns that lot that has all the vegetative buffer? I mean, is it potential that could be cleared out and taken away? Does it even matter?
I mean,
It would be to their detriment, but sorry.
Yeah.
that lot is owned by the people who own the shopping center where the Break and Bad Kitty and all of that is.
So it
owned
would
by-
be against their best interest to clear that out then.
And ours.
Yeah. Because it was dense. I mean, there was a lot of it.
And there's
thank-
also, there's also a like a drainage easement in there that probably would never be cleared. Right on the other side of the fence.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Crane? Okay. Is there anyone present I'm sorry, I need to allow the applicant to speak. My bad, I'm jumping ahead here. At this time, I will call the applicant. You have a 10-minute limit, so please state your case.
Hi, my name is Roman Rosa with Beer Engineer Supply. And I'm here with my partners. This is my wife Hillary, and on the screen you've got Kevin and Justin and SA. And you know we're excited to have this opportunity. The building owner Joe Walters approached us about taking this spot after the last round at BZA, and it feels like this is all kind of happened for a reason, and things are moving forward in a good way. And I think the last thing that we need is an exception to use beer location as it stands. So, we're thankful that you're able to listen to us today and say we state our case, and our goal is to be able to bring a brewery to James Island and produce at this location and serve the community. My wife and I have done a bunch of door knocking, and we tried to hit every single house in that 300-foot radius, as well as other neighbors. We've lived in the neighborhood for 6 years, right around the corner. We're at 46 Rivers Point Road, but we were in Bayfront for 5 years. And, it's a lot of our friends and family in this area. So we're just hopeful that we can make this happen. I think we knocked on every house. A couple of them are vacant. Some of them are commercial properties, but about half the houses answered, and we got them to sign their approval. And I believe some people sent emails saying approval. And I just think we're in a good position to do this for James Island. We'll see if anybody else would like to say something. Thank you, Kevin.
Roman, as usual, I think you summed it up pretty well. It feels a little strange to address but many of the same people for the same reason, correct? But yes, I'll reiterate how excited we are for this and how appropriate it seems in retrospect, certainly compared to the previous location that we were all meeting about. When we're talking manufacture, production of fermented beverages, there's very little in noise and pollutants and anything of that sort. So it's fairly quiet as far as manufacturing goes. We're hoping that people on the board here realize that there's very little opportunity for nuisance anything from this exception. And it would bring our business to James Island, which is what we've been trying to do for quite a long time. So we really hope that this is the one. We've got a lot of great things planned, and we want to see them through. Thank you.
This is SA. I guess just to kind of add on to that, I think it's a great opportunity, I think, to be able to bring a brewery. I think that's much needed for James Island ever since tradesmen had unfortunately had to leave the area, and just also to provide, just that craft beer community, along with the fact that with the brewery, we'll be adding a tap room and also a home brew shop, which can also help, bring the community together and also to, just teach the community a lot more about craft beer too, as well, if they want to know about it.
And I won't take up anybody's time, but just want to thank the board for their taking the time to listen to this case. And I hope we can bring a successful business, jobs, and opportunities to James Island, and hopefully look forward to working there. So thank you.
Well, thank you all. That was probably the shortest presentation we've had at a case. I think I timed you at 3 minutes. So it's good to see all of your faces. Are there any questions for the applicant from our BZA members?
I do.
Ms. Hip?
So the Hurricane Boxing is indeed y'all are going to take that space and they're going to close if it all works out.
Yes, as
Okay.
far as we were approached, that we were told that he's month to month and looking to retire, so we're not necessarily.
Oh, you're not going to kick him out. I got it.
Yeah,
That is
we're working with them, and there's a little bit of an open timeline to a degree.
got it. And then you are going to have a restaurant.
Yes, yep,
Okay.
That's the goal. We think that that's a lacking thing in other breweries. We want to have that as part of us permanently.
And do you have an idea of your hours? Just a vague idea?
We're going to comply with what our neighbors are. Chances are we'll probably be open a little shorter just because of the nature of our business is a little different.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, well, thank you all. At this time, is there anyone present at Town Hall who wishes to speak in support of the request? I don't see anyone in Town Hall. There, okay.
Here.
Thank you, Flannery. Now we see you. Please state your name and address.
Joe Walters, 792 Folly Road. My brother David and I are here tonight. Just wanted to thank the BZA members for hearing the special exception. And if there are any questions with regards to property, the management thereof, or the leases for the existing clients that are there, would be happy to answer them. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walters. And I'm assuming there's no one against it since
Can I ask a question of Mr. Walters really quickly, just so that I understand very clearly?
Unfortunately, Mr. Smith, that's out of,
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We can't question the folks who speak in support or against. And we did not have anyone there in opposition. So the applicant does not need to respond to any opposition. So at this time, I close the hearing to the public. And I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the special exception with the conditions set forth by staff. I need a second for discussion. Who would second that motion?
I
Mr.
second.
Savage. So Ms. Lyon made the motion to approve with the conditions set forth by staff, seconded by Commissioner Savage. So now, board members, we can discuss this. Any comments? Okay, well, I will comment then if no one wants to jump in just yet.
I was just going to say, I really think
Okay.
that they've done the things that we asked of them 2 months ago, which was to seek out into the community and ask and poll everybody around them to make sure that they are well received. And I don't know if it's okay for me to say that, Bo, but I personally do feel that that is positive, and that made me happy.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Hipp. I feel like I will be voting for my motion. I feel like the applicant has met all the criteria set forth. And I would like to comment for the record that we got 12 letters of support, which included an adjoining business, the Baguette Magic, as well as an attorney with an office nearby. There was also a petition with 12 names on it, all for the business. 3 of those on the petition also sent letters, but there were 9 additional names on the petition, which is a total of 21 folks from the community that took the time to put their name down or send a letter in support. And I think it's great that y'all went out to the surrounding folks and talked to people and probably helped drum up some of the support. So good for y'all. Any other comments from anyone or discussion with each other?
David Savage, I'm inclined to approve. I think they did a good job on the application. I also appreciate them speaking up. You may remember I'm a little hard of hearing, and your presentation was very clear this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, discussion? Questions,
Welcome to the
concerns?
island.
Thank you. Okay, well, if nobody else has any more discussion, Ms. Simmons, if you would do a roll call vote for us, we are, the motion on the floor is to approve the special exception with conditions set forth by staff. So if you vote aye, you're voting for it. If you vote nay, you're voting against it.
Okay. Commissioner Fabry,
Aye.
Commissioner Hipp,
Aye.
Vice Chair Savage,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Chairwoman Lyon.
Aye. So the motion carries unanimously. It met the legal reason, it met all the criteria. I'd like to say to the applicant and owner, the final decision will be mailed to you within 10 working days. You may contact planning or zoning staff with any questions about the approval. Congratulations. We're delighted as a James Island resident to have you here on the island, and wish you a lot of success, and just glad that this opportunity presented itself for y'all. That it met the criteria set forth for the town's conditions. As far as additional business, we possibly have a meeting next month, which would be April the 19th. Apparently, we have a few things in the wings, but nothing definite yet. The closing date is Friday of this week. So I'm sure Kristen will let us know as soon as she does. I do want to thank staff again. It was great getting our link this morning. We got a reminder. We got a reminder right before the meeting. All the hard work that goes into each case. We really appreciate it. I know I speak for all of our board members. So
Aye. Aye.
Yes. So if there is no further business, this meeting of the Town of James Island Board of Zoning Appeals stands adjourned. And thank you all.
And thank you, Brooke.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
you.